Welcome back, everybody, to The Orange Man is Bad, but is he bad, or is he even badder than bad? I don't know. Let's take a look what people are saying on Twitter, because Joe Rogan is trending, and he had some things to say about how bad The Orange Man was, and they're actually pretty positive. So today's a good video, yay! Alright, so Joe Rogan had a podcast in which he said some very far right things, some very biased things. I think he's taken the red pill. Oh my gosh, what is happening to the world? This is terrible. Because Joe Rogan, he is he's got the #1 podcast in America, and this is fun to watch. Now, Joe Rogan is actually a pretty cool dude if you've ever watched the Joe Rogan Experience. And I don't want to misframe this guy at all. Joe Rogan is pretty left-wing. And by that I mean he's very progressive in a lot of his viewpoints. I think the only thing that he really is not for is the whole men can be women, women can be men, so therefore if men want to be women and compete with women, that's okay. Like, he is totally against that. But otherwise, like, he's a Sanders supporter. Pretty hardcore, if I had to say, to be honest. He really does like Bernie Sanders. But in his podcast, he basically comes out, he defends Project Veritas, which is, I don't think that you're allowed to do that. I don't think you're allowed to do that if you're anywhere near the mainstream. And he also said that he would vote for Trump over Biden, which, oh my goodness, that is going to upset so many people. Anyways, guys, so this tweet from James O'Keefe, it's from the Joe Rogan Experience. So we got two videos. First one, we're just going to play it through. It's 2 minutes long. I'm really surprised to see this stuff breaking through, because if Joe Rogan is talking about it, Joe Rogan's trending on Twitter, that means that more people who aren't even necessarily invested in politics are going to be looking into this stuff. And I think that's pretty important because there's a lot of lies. There's a ton of gaslighting that goes on. Let's just jump right into it. Before we do, please like this video, leave a comment, even if that comment is, Crow, what you doing? Why are you supporting Joe Rogan? Can't you tell he's a bigot? He's a bigot because he supports the Orange Man who's so bad. I don't care, all comments are great for the YouTube algorithm. After you're done leaving that comment, subscribe to this channel, because all subscriptions give all the angels their wings, or something like that. And I also hear that when you subscribe, I get to drink a Coronita Extra, which is the rebranding of Corona beer, because apparently the Wu Flu has killed Corona branding forever.
To you about one of your podcasts I listened to at least recently.
You listen to a podcast?
Yeah, it's controversial. The O'Keefe podcast, the Project Veritas guy. Yeah. That's an interesting one, because you had a really good point in that people, when they hear that this is a Project Veritas thing, and for people who don't know who he is, James O'Keefe from Project Veritas, they've done a lot of work exposing some biases that are held by some of the people that work in these social media groups, social media corporations like Twitter and Facebook and things like that. Yeah. But the way they've done it is all through hidden camera type stuff. And there's a narrative that people love to use where they go, oh, that guy, he uses selective editing, or that guy, you can't believe anything they say.
Everything he says is wrong.
But that is impossible.
Impossible.
Because you're listening to these people talking, and they're talking.
It's impossible. It's impossible. It can't happen.
About how they marginalize right-wing viewpoints. They look for people who have like MAGA in their headline, and they put them in certain categories where it makes it very difficult for people to get their stuff that the algorithm supports. You know, that they know how to marginalize these perspectives and these points of view. And it's really weird that they've found this strange way of describing it, where even though you see it on video, you hear people say things that should be outrageous to anyone who believes in objective reality. And yet people love to say that's just a Project Veritas thing. That guy's full of shit, and they go, "Oh, he's full of shit." Good, and then they cast it aside.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. I want to take risk, and that was a huge risk because part of the thing is that if you touch these worlds.
All right, so pretty clear from Joe Rogan. He's, I don't know how you want to say that. Like, is he a supporter of right wing, far right, nasty, evil conservative? No, he's just saying, like, when you look at something from Project Veritas, it's these people are. He's done exposés on Google. He's done exposés on ABC News and covering up the whole Epstein thing. He's done videos exposing, even Bernie Sanders staffers. And Joe Rogan is 100% correct. When those videos come out, the general defense against it is not, this is why what they said is correct. It's, oh, no, that's bullshit. That's not real. That's totally out of context. And I go like, well, what's the context behind saying that you want to shove people into gulags, right? What's the context behind basically saying that you are moving things around in the algorithm to shift society towards a political goal of yourself? Like, I don't know the defense to that, but that's why there is no real defense. And he's right. Like, they will see these things happening in front of them and they will absolutely argue against it. There's not much you can really say beyond, whatever you want to say about Project Veritas, their investigative manner, the undercover videos, the fact that they do have edits, not selective edits, not taking shit out of context, but if Project Veritas shows you someone at Google admitting that they are de-ranking conservatives, if you see someone at Project Veritas getting someone to admit on camera, right, in their own words, that they want universal education, so they can use that to re-educate conservatives. Like, there's no defense to this if you believe in objective reality. Ah, man. Anyways, next up. This is the funniest. Joe Rogan said, maybe Orangeman not that bad. Ah! Sorry, I thought that was funny. Oh, man. And then this one. Matt Couch. Breaking. Joe Rogan said I'd vote for Trump over Biden. Liberal heads exploded. 3, 2. Oh, man. This one from Ryan Saavedra is another clip out of the Joe Rogan podcast. Let's go and watch this one because he does say that he would vote for Joe Biden. He said not Joe Biden. He said he'd vote for Trump over Joe Biden. That did not mean like, oh, I'm a hardcore Trump supporter now. And his reasoning here is sound, and I do appreciate it, right? I appreciate the fact that Joe Rogan, well, he does not believe in the same things I believe in, politically speaking, for the most part. He does believe in an objective reality, and I like his rationale here, that the left is making people into morons, because Joe Biden has dementia. He's got something wrong with him. There's something not clicking upstairs, and the fact that there are so many people on the left that are just die hard that Joe Biden is their savior is insane. It's literally insane. But let's hear from his own words.
Yeah, I want a choice of an actual president that's viable. I don't have one. So right. Then you're going to ask me, well, which of the non-viable people do you like best?
Well, this is the real issue with the Democratic Party. They've essentially made us all morons.
Yeah.
With this Joe Biden thing, they really have. They made us all morons.
Who do we need? I mean,
I can't vote for that guy.
I can't vote for him.
I can't vote for him.
I can't vote for Trump.
I'd rather vote for Trump than him. I don't think he can handle anything. I mean, you're relying entirely on his cabinet. Like, if you want to talk about an individual leader that can communicate, he can't do that. And we don't even know what the fuck he's going to be like after a year in office. The pressure of being the president of the United States is something that no one has ever prepared for.
Right.
The only one who seems to be fine with it is Trump, oddly enough. mean, he doesn't seem to be aging at all or in any sort of decline. You know, Obama, like, almost immediately started looking older.
Yeah.
George W. almost immediately started looking older.
Well, I think that this is not a change in Trump. Like, Trump, in a weird way, has just always been this performative, like a fake alpha.
Right, and he still plays golf all the time. Like, he hasn't switched up much. I mean, I'm sure he switched it up a little bit because of the pandemic, because he's apparently a germaphobe, which is hilarious. That this could be his demise. You know? I mean, isn't that kind of hilarious? That might be what does him in. The guy's always been worried about germs, apparently.
How does that work with his active
I know exactly what he was about to say. Oh, man. How does that work with all the characters? Oh, man. No, look. Here's the thing, guys. They're 100% correct here. And again, I don't believe a lot of the same things politically that Joe Rogan believes in, right? I'm not a hardcore progressive. I really don't like the use of a large master federal government, especially when we see how bad the federal government botches things like on a daily basis. But to see them understand that what's going on right now is that the left has been completely dumbed down, right? Completely just made into absolute idiots. And if you see me going through Twitter in a lot of my videos, you can see their responses. They are deranged. They are stupid. They don't think much. You know, it's just Orange Man bad. But how bad is the Orange Man? Is he super very ultra bad, or is he orange dictator bad Germany guy? Like, it doesn't stop. Like, I don't know what to say here. But this is not like a hardcore defense of Trump over Biden. It really isn't. In fact, you know, they're joking about Trump, right? They're kind of making fun of it. Like the guy he's with is Eric Weinstein. He's literally about to say, how does Trump deal with all the germs when he's all those extracurricular activities he's involved in? It's funny. It really is funny watching this. But he's not saying like, oh man, I am like hardcore. I'm going to go out and start campaigning for Trump. No, you just said like, look, if you forced a gun to my head and you were going to pull the trigger unless I voted for somebody, I would 100% vote for Donald Trump over Joe Biden. And I get that. I really do. I think that's why there's a lot of Bernie supporters who are sitting there going, you know, if it's a choice between Donald Trump and a man with freaking dementia, I will vote for Trump over the guy with dementia because Donald Trump's just not that bad. Like, they can shriek it, they can scream it, but unfortunately, this is what the left has now. The left is not united on anything other than Orange Man is the baddest man of all the bads. And if that's what unites you, if what's uniting you is your hatred for somebody else, eventually that is going to collapse. Eventually it is, because if hatred burns out, you know, people get tired of being hateful. I mean, especially when it comes to Trump, where you're never winning anything. Like, his poll numbers go up. Like, look at what happens when they air his press briefings, right? Donald Trump's poll ratings, they start skyrocketing because people actually hear what he has to say, and they sit there and they go, oh, well, I guess the Orange Man is only kind of sort of bad and not literally a Cheeto dictator, a bad Germany guy with a bad tan, you know? If you constantly rag on Trump, and this is anybody on the left who does not like this guy, if you are constantly ragging on Trump, you know, Trump, when Donald Trump puts out a tweet about freaking Little League, and your first response is, he's a terrible man, he's got blood on his hands. Well, then he doesn't really have a very high bar to clear. He really doesn't. Like, you called him a monster, a bigot, a xenophobe, misogynistic, you know, grab him by the thing between their legs that really upsets all the feminists out there. if that is all you have, then when Donald Trump just shows up and doesn't do any of that, he looks great in comparison to this straw man that you have been consistently trying to burn for 4 years. And it's funny. And if people do not get, if people do not get that Joe Rogan is on the left, that Joe Rogan has a massive podcast and a massive fan base, if you do not get how dangerous it is for the left to be losing Joe Rogan in this fight, damn, they are 100% living in a fictitious reality where they are the heroes of their own wet dream. Oh man. Anyways, guys, that's the video. I just thought that this was funny, and it is funny. Like, if you don't think it's funny, like, what is wrong with you? With all the crazy stuff going on, with all the Wu flu, yellow feveritis, all the peoples are gonna dies. We went, maybe it'll be 100,000, maybe it'll be 240,000. Thank the bejeebus person that it's not 2.2 million or whatever. If you don't understand, there's something really funny about watching Joe Rogan flat out state that I would 100% vote for Trump over Biden if I was forced to. Oh man, you need to lighten up. You need to have a good time, and I'll see you in the next video.